It's Thursday. You know what time it is. Time for the hottest wrestling podcast on the planet. Beyond the Barricade with your hosts, Dollar Bill, the Cleaner, and the Brain. Let's get started.
Good evening, everybody.
Or good
We're
morning, or good afternoon.
infidels.
Where the hell are you?
Yep.
Well,
And
no matter what time of day you say good morning, it's correct. Because somewhere in the
Yes.
world, it is morning.
Or you in the galaxy?
or the
And we're not
universe.
worried about the galaxy.
Oh, come on. They got some good fans over there.
But
Yeah.
just remember this the answer
Omicron
to every question in the galaxy is 42.
Let's see.
with
I'm
the
going to say
one
hi to the
question.
star. I want to say hi to the Starman first. And and somebody actually stole my freaking probability drive, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, boy.
All right. So check out. So being that the latest catchphrase is now, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. And as Brain has actually updated his thing, as well
I
as
mean, that's not a catch. That's not a catchphrase.
it
You
will
should
be,
tell them the truth.
but it's still catchy though. It's still gonna be a catchphrase regardless. You know that for a fact.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
they've
it's
already
the truth.
trademarked it.
Yeah.
Mm. It's a catchphrase, but there's a lot of truth behind it, and especially in the indie scene, it's very prevalent. It's really prevalent.
Yes, it
So
is.
Yeah.
yeah, so the idea here is trying to make as much money as you can, even if it means stepping over people's heads and shoulders just to get there. Because at the end of the day, it's about paying the bills and getting enough money to do something. Because honestly, as you both know, and we all know, and the stories we've heard, just don't pay a lot.
I honestly will counter that and say it really
Oh, go.
depends on where you work and what companies you work for. Because I do want to bring up a tweet from one Joey Janela, friend of the
Go
show,
for it. You haven't
who
seen
has yet to be on the show. Probably doesn't even know the show is. Anyway,
it?
he stated it was recently, it was like within the last 3-4 days, somebody was trying to troll him, and he responded by saying people
Swear.
don't understand how much money you can make on the indies, uh, because he was talking about some wrestlers are able to sell a whole box of pins on one night on one show in the same value of working a dead end job for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of people like the Young Bucks, Cody, the whole elite at that point, and now with guys like Joey
Seth.
Janela, Matt Cardona, Nick Gage, and so many others that are making money on the indies because of the a lot of the steps that have been paved with uh, like certain products or companies like Pro Wrestling Tees, where it's so much easier to make and sell shirts as a professional wrestler.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's still though it's not like that easy to do it because if you say you have a company of 50 wrestlers, not all 50 of them are going to make really good money.
No,
Most of them, as even said, it's going to be like just as your tag says, hot dogs and handshakes.
the
I mean,
famous hot dog and handshake, but then again, those are the dues that everybody has to pay at the beginning of their careers.
yeah,
Is
or
it's
the,
not an easy life to get into, but like this catchphrase goes, once you're over for life.
Mm-hmm.
You
yes,
once
Definitely.
you're over, you know how to get over.
that that would be we could say is one of the secret sauces, and this is based upon experiences we've seen of
Don't
guys
let
coming in and out.
Plankton know.
Who?
Don't let Plankton know. You said secret sauce.
Yep.
For my
And
SpongeBob fans out there,
Mr. Krabby.
Mr. Crab.
Krabby Patties.
So But yeah, no, because you do see these guys like Matt Cardona who wants to help better the indies by showing that you don't have there is money to be made on the indies. And there's numerous people that have talked about over the years that they've taken pay cuts to sign with WWE or AEW or like one of the big companies. But there's such a wide range and a wide gap between how many people can make money on the indies and how many people are struggling to survive.
Yeah. I wonder what the ratio is kind of like. I know there's no exact number. Ray knows that. That's
No.
impossible. With all the
Probably
feds
for
going
every one
around.
guy that makes it, like 60 or 70 don't.
Yeah.
That's a good figure to start with. I mean,
Because
feel
there's
free.
definitely you don't you have these how many people working for 20 years and they're wrestling in front of the same crowds in front of the same small indies in the same three towns that
Mhm.
are right next to each other
Yeah.
and they're only wrestling for 30-40 people a night and they think they're tough shit because they booked themselves to be the main event each and every night.
Yeah.
See, that's
As always.
where the problem lies, because they think they're the top dog in a company, and the company isn't even a little fish in a big pond.
No,
Nope.
it's a little pebble of sand and it's a hard desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you can be big and stay in a little thing forever all you want, or you can try to take your chances in the bigger leagues and just realize that you're not as big as you think.
But then again, their ego is so big that they can't move to a bigger territory.
That's a good point. Moving to somewhere else and getting more of a crowd, getting where you had to kind of start. You were here in this little league.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Now you go in this next league. You're down here again. So it's kind
yeah.
of like your value is going to go up and down throughout these years.
Because they know if they move, they're done for.
Yeah, because
They
they're
want to stay in
not the
the.
big fish in the pond anymore.
Yep.
Now they got to
They're
compete
what's
with the
known
other
as
fishes.
they move to another promotion. They're what's known as the FNG.
Yep.
What
They're
does that
fresh
stand?
meat.
The
They're the FNG in the promotion, and they're going to be
they're
booked to
the
lose. They're going to be booked to job to everybody until they prove themselves.
they're the Florida nuisance Guido. That's what it means.
Yeah,
Gavin Newsom.
we
Listen, you put me on
all
the
know what it
spot.
means.
You put me on the spot. My jokes are gonna bomb.
That's okay. We got enough bombs going around right now.
Yeah,
Nah, but like that's also another thing most people can't handle. I mean, not even just the guys themselves, but even some of their fans. I mean, imagine seeing your guy being big league and everything here, then go somewhere else higher, and then see them kind of like jobbing. They're like, "What's
Yeah,
going on?"
yeah.
I got a good example I just thought of. I'm wondering if you can agree with me or not. Danhausen. Like it just
yes,
seems
I will
like
agree with you on that.
it seemed like he was making a big deal in the indies. He was somewhat, I'm not sure how big he was in Ring of Honor, but from what I've
So
heard, the hype behind it, he was pretty big, like not gigantic, but not like
it's.
tiny. Like he was in the
I
middle,
will
and
say
then he goes
this.
to AEW, and then it just seems like he's just jobbed left and right and doesn't
I
even
will
show.
say
Like,
this. In terms of Ring of Honor, in terms of the indie scene, it wasn't more his wrestling that got over. It was the
right,
character,
it was antics, yeah,
which is
Yeah,
the same thing what's happening in AEW. It's just on a much larger scale. His character is getting over, but his
without a doubt,
wrestling,
his
he was
character is
never
way
winning
over.
matches. Yeah, he was never winning matches. He was never. I don't. He might have been a television champion once, but it was for Ring of Honor. But it might have been a 2 week reign or something like that. I have a picture in my mind of him with the Ring of Honor Television Championship before the Sinclair era of Ring of Honor.
okay, yeah,
But yeah, no, he wasn't in terms he was never at the top of the card. And he was always never it wasn't for his wrestling that he got over.
Right,
His
we know
character.
that. No, we know.
He
We all
wasn't.
get
Okay.
that. Yeah.
No, he was
It's
not.
just,
He was not the television champion, Ring of Honor.
no. Okay.
I'm looking
I mean,
at his
it,
championships and accomplishments now.
And he doesn't
I mean,
have
when I
many.
when I pointed out, it's
Oh,
not. It's like it's not even wrestling. It's just the character himself, the persona,
yeah.
everything about him.
And I feel like the character has gotten over in AEW, especially if you watched AEW the last couple of months. His return, he's been having return promos, which is still like a rarity in Ring of Honor or in AEW. Because a
It's a
lot
rarity.
of times when
Period.
people come back, they like to have them come back just right then and there. Like
Lights
there's
out.
no like
Lights on.
promos to hype up a return.
That's you don't see that
So,
too often.
so these are the championships and accomplishments listed under Danhausen.
All right.
The AEW Casino Tag Team Battle Royal with OC.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, BLP Tag Team Champions with Ethan Page and Swoggle.
BOP?
Black Label.
Oh,
BLP.
BLP. Okay.
Black Label Pro.
Okay.
Full Impact Pro Heritage Championship. Florida Heritage Championship.
Okay.
Okay, there, I think down in Florida.
Yeah.
Another Florida
That's
Before
what
you
it says.
continue,
Florida Heritage Championship.
BLP, where are they at?
Mhm.
Black Label Pro. I forget where they're from, but they were at the collective that in 2019. They go to the
Yeah, they're
collective
always
every
at the
year.
collective. They always run at least like
Oh.
one show. I just
Yeah.
forget where they're from.
And the Metro Wrestling Alliance Michigan Championship.
Hmm.
And
Good
best
stuff.
new star of Ring of Honor 2020.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, I think that's when he first debuted at. It was right after the Elite left. Maybe a
Mm.
little bit, like a little bit longer after the Elite left. But yeah, no, he came into Ring of Honor. Yeah, it was right before the pandemic, so that wasn't as good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was really beloved in Ring of Honor. There's
Oh
more
yeah.
forward to the character because he wasn't um like there wasn't a push behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
just
his
because it's
character is over. His wrestling is not.
Yeah,
He's
but I
basically.
mean,
He's
yeah, I'm sorry to cut
basically.
you off.
No, you're not. You do it all
Internet.
the time. So, but go ahead.
But
Fuck
all I was
this.
gonna say was like that's a whole like thing about the independents is that a lot of people they could leave leave the independents, go to a big company, and then come back with a new character and get over. Like you look at OC. How many times did he have to like reinvent and struggle? Because I didn't notice. He was one of the I think he was the red military or he was military ant.
Oh, red ant, a fire ant. You mean?
He was one of those ants. He was
Yeah.
either military or fire ant. In
No, it was fire ant. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. But I could have sworn it was fire ant.
had no recollection. And then if you see like the early days of Orange Cassidy, it's
Yeah.
nothing like the character
Fire
we
Ant.
know now. Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
I figured. I remember fire ant. I remember seeing him fire ant in Chicago.
Yeah, and so like I said, like it took so many years for that character just to develop. And then it wasn't until like 2017 where he really picked up. It wasn't until he signed with GCW where that character like picked up steam and was like so big to like the point where at the first ever Casino Battle Royal on the first ever AEW show, he's getting a huge pop.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you look at Joey Janela, he got into AEW because of the success he had in GCW. So there's a lot of people that have, like people talk about how the independents aren't like they don't do good work of character work. There's so many cases to prove that sentiment wrong.
Character work is part of it. I mean, without it, it's like, what the hell are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you another
it's
example
part
of
of the whole
somebody
thing.
who busted their ass on the indies and now has made it big. We all grew up watching him. Eddie.
Yeah, and he
Eddie
didn't
Kingston.
change. Yeah,
Kingston.
and like that's what the one thing I've been liking about AEW is that they really don't change who they are.
Yeah.
They understand what got them to that company, and they don't change it. They don't try to fix what's not broken, and like that's
Exactly.
why Eddie is such a big draw and one of the most beloved characters in AEW is
Hmm.
because you can see how many people say this. He's real.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You believe what he says. You like want him to win because he's real. He doesn't look like he's not one of these bodybuilders. You you see so much of yourself and your
Hmm.
hard fought with your struggles and your problems. You see that in him, in the way he emotes himself. And you're
It's the
just like,
connection.
that's me. And I want this guy to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beer belly blue collar worker.
Yeah.
They're living
But
vicariously through him.
Yep.
even still, I mean, he was. I mean, he wasn't he also the type that kind of burned a lot of bridges at a point. I'm not. I don't
He
want. I'm
did.
not gonna put him down for it. I just said like.
He'll be the
That's
first.
his
No, no,
words.
no. He'll be the first one to tell you. He's had mental health problems and attitude problems that have cost him so many opportunities. Like he's had several, I think 2 or 3 runs with Ring of Honor before signing with AEW,
Mm,
and his mental health was a problem that cost him many opportunities in Ring of Honor under the many different ownerships. And
He literally could have had multiple championship runs in Ring of Honor,
he could have
but
been, he could have had multiple championship runs in WWE.
yeah, I think he had a
Um,
couple of tryouts with them, and just something with his attitude
the
turned him off.
closest I know he came to signing was 2020 when he got that when he had that match versus Cody. They sent him an offer. I forgot what it was for. It was either it was I think it was down to NXT to coach, and he was like, "Nah, I want to wrestle." Oh, I think that's what they offered him, but then WWE was or AEW was like, "Nah, come in and wrestle for us," and especially because Cody like vouched for him
Yeah,
and he took that offer. And then after he wrestled for AEW, that's when WWE sent him a wrestling offer, and he was like, "I already signed with AEW because you guys didn't want to give me a shot."
yep,
it's like, oops.
Yeah, and it's worked out wonders for AEW.
yes, it's worked out wonders for Eddie.
Yes, I'm so happy for. I
So am
can
I.
tell you, I know we're supposed to be talking about independent wrestling, but just that one night at Grand Slam a couple months ago when he won that Ring of Honor title. There was no more. There's no more. If you look at the Arthur Ashe Stadium right now, there's no roof because of that moment.
Very much. And the thing was that he's kind of proof you kind of do need friends here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like
because
as
that's a
much
big
as
thing with not just independent wrestling or the
big
bigger
time.
leagues of wrestling, but it's also just like any job. If you want to move up on the ladder, you need
Don't be a dick.
have connections. That's a big thing. And yeah, there's a lot of people that you could say have been hired to certain companies because of their connections.
Oh yeah, I've met a few of them, and we're still kind of like scratching our head saying how,
Yeah,
like, really, exactly. That is the same expression you have right there, cleaner. The same
yep.
expression.
yeah.
Or even like this with the eye roll.
Yep. And then you
No,
wonder
I do this
why
one
their
better
company goes under.
Hmm.
with the eye white.
Hmm.
Yep.
It's like, oh hi, Undertaker. It's like, yeah, I'm just doing that because I'm pissing off.
Yeah.
I can tell you what. You know what really going back to on topic. Right?
Yes.
You know what really helped independent wrestling?
Mm.
The whole boom of like what helps a lot more people to make money on the independents was if you look at like that 2012 and 2013 where YouTube was like really this big thing now and like the easeability of
Mm.
using like having streaming platforms and to
Yeah.
like instead of now having every event have to be you have to wait months to put it on DVD. That you just upload it to a website and cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's also how the best way you can discover a lot of wrestling out there.
Yes.
Perfect
Chances
example.
are, yeah,
IWTV.
YouTube. Hmm.
Yep. I
Yeah.
mean, hell, even before that, you had those wrestling YouTube shows,
Yeah.
and it's not even when I shouldn't say YouTube shows. I'm talking about blogs.
No, you
Like
got it
the
right.
like the first couple that I remember so vividly. One was the Candice and Joey show
Oh,
with
okay.
Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan. Um,
Eh.
yeah, I don't want to talk about him, but that show was a platform because you had it was a vlog show, and then you got to see the difficulties of being a independent wrestler. You got to
Hmm.
see the difficulties of traveling to the different shows and what it's like backstage and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And another big one was one of the first was the Kevin Steen show. So for about a year or so
Mm-hmm.
before he
Oh,
signed with WWE, Kevin Steen was doing those vlogs, and that was like a catalyst. Like now that unfortunately they're all taken down, but there was a Reddit person who I saw who had saved them all, and that was a really fun show. Um, but like you got to see these wrestlers in a whole different light, and it was them doing the editing, them doing the recording. It was all them. There was
yeah.
no like promoter telling them what to do. You got to see the real people behind the characters. Like there's a famous clip of Roderick Strong like spinning on a chair. He was drunk off his ass too before he got signed, and I forgot what he was talking about, but he was just like, "Who gives a fuck?" If you've ever seen that, it's hilarious because it's this episode where like Roger Strong is like just drunk as fuck during the WrestleMania 2014 like the conventions. There was a party over somebody's house. It was hilarious, but and like one of my favorite things was like you just get to see like the whole dynamic before a PWG show at
Hmm.
Reseda, and like you get to see how that was a family. You know, that's a future episode topic.
That's
Independent
true.
wrestling family.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, and then I mean we could talk about the big one being the elite. I remember when that show first started in 2016. Oh, like they when they first opened up their YouTube channel, they were just uploading videos from their Vine.
Right.
Before TikTok, there was Vine,
Yep.
and they were just uploading skits to that Vine. And then they started to make their own vlog. The Young Bucks made their own vlog, and I remember their second episode to being the elite was about one of the shows on that episode was my show, my first ever Ring of Honor show. It was at
Mm.
Terminal 5, and I remember because there's a scene where they're talking about the New York show, and Matt is like hurt with a broken wrist, and Nick has a broken or hurt back. But yeah, that helped independent wrestling have more exposure. And like if you talk to people about it, the whole those early 2010s, the boom of independent wrestling. Because now
Definitely.
you can go out, just type a couple key words on your computer, and you go out and get all these different promotions. You can get the promotions in Texas, California, New Jersey, Florida, Seattle. All of these promotions were now readily available. And like if we
right there.
fast forward to today, we have Fight TV for $20. There's so many different promotions on that platform
Hmm.
that helps.
IWTV.
That's another good one. Yes.
That one has hundreds, and I literally mean hundreds of promotions from all over the country.
Mm.
I think what I like about IWF though, or IWTV, is that they also have a lot of smaller promotions too.
Yeah.
So like a small promotion that's I think prominent on their service is Beyond, because that's a
Mhm.
notorious promotion. For like a couple of years, they were kind of seen as PWG East.
Eh,
Uh, and one of their big things was like they were one of the few promotions I should say, excuse me, even to this day, where there's no seating. Everybody's standing, like all the fans are standing, and they're right up on the ring.
Yeah.
And like I remember when GCW did a double shot with Beyond, and it was their first ever show in New Jersey. I was like literally leaning on the ring, watching the show. Like I remember leaning on the ring and like literally standing right next to me was Maria Manic, and she was teaming up with Penelope Ford versus Lufisto and Jordan Grace, and like that was literally like they were literally running the ropes right in front of me. I'm trying to remember who else. I think it was like Heat Club versus like Joey Janela and somebody. I can't remember the other matches on that show, but oh no, there was one. It was like um, oh, I forget his name now, but it's the guy with Vinny Marcellia and the Righteous. Butch, I think his name is,
for
or
Pulp Fiction,
Dutch,
All right. Long
Dutch
story.
for AEW.
Too late.
But the point is, like they had a match there,
Butch.
and like that was so cool with Beyond is like you literally could reach them and tag yourself into the match. I had
You could
never been
trip them
that
up
close
as
to
they
a
ran the
wrestling.
ropes.
Yeah, but obviously,
He'll move.
there's that connection and like that trust in the fans.
Hmm.
But it was like I've never been that close. I never got to like touch a mat of the ring. I never got to touch the ropes, and like I finally got to do it. And like that's the whole coolness of independent wrestling.
Good
Hmm.
question though. Just hit me. The thing about independent wrestling, I'm just curious. There's a difference. Do you think based upon what we also talk about and how close you are, do you think that independent wrestling tends to be? Do you think it's more or less cutthroat than the big leagues?
You want to go ring first?
I personally, I think it's a little less cutthroat than the big leagues because these guys are going around to different promotions. They're working with sometimes the same guys, sometimes they're working with different guys. But yeah, everybody has the same dream, but they're not as vicious when it comes to getting over.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this for a fact from being in the back. These guys, they'll go over their match step by
Yeah,
step. And I've literally seen this. I have seen guys do rock, paper, scissors to see who's going to win the match.
I can see that.
GCW.
Like different
Yes.
anywhere.
Let
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
guess. GCW, and it was at an Asbury Park show.
Nope. It was in
Uh,
Howell.
mm, but I will agree to you. I will agree with you on that statement. I do believe independent wrestling is less cutthroat, But then again, I think when you're comparing the business as a whole from top to bottom, I believe it's the whole business itself is less cutthroat as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Hmm.
I think the locker rooms have been more, it's more of a team mentality. It's more about us doing good for the sake of the company to grow the company instead of growing ourselves.
Hmm.
I love hearing one of the complaints
And
was,
I think we can all agree that agree that there was one person that epitomized the concept of me first when it came to wrestling.
Yeah, and he ended Monday Night Raw last week.
No, I'm not talking about him.
"Ooh, we got another one. Do
We're
tell."
talking
Yeah, so there's two.
the beginning of the
That's always
golden
more.
age.
Oh, Mister, I saw a kid who was about to die at Wembley Stadium, even though I've never wrestled at Wembley Stadium. Come on, there's
Mm,
one person who, when I say that, you should like. This is a legit thing that this person has said.
Really? I didn't hear about
Yeah,
this one. Holy
he
shit!
legitimately said that before he went out at Wembley Stadium, he
Oh,
saw
that story.
a Make a Wish kid
Okay.
and was like, "Do good, brother. I'm gonna
Let
help
me
you
tell you
out,
something,
brother."
brother. I
Yeah,
got another line for you, brother.
and then he went out, wrestled at Wembley Stadium. While he was wrestling, the kid died. Mind you, he has never wrestled at Wembley Stadium.
Yep. I remember now. Now I remember what you're talking about. I was like,
Do you have an
huh?
idea who I'm talking about, Brain?
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
He just gave it
yeah,
away.
You gave it away too,
yeah.
because you said
He's
brother.
just he has a perpetual case of verbal diarrhea.
The ultimate politician.
Hmm.
You know how we call Adam Copeland the ultimate opportunist?
Yep.
Hulk Hogan is the ultimate politician.
I could have seen him as a president, to be quite honest. The way,
And that's
having his
Even
exactly where
then,
I
charisma.
was going with that
even
because
then,
it was, how many times did he use his clout to change the
creative
result
control.
of a match to
That was
where,
literally that was written into his contract. Creative control. But
yeah,
he said, and Eric Bischoff said he never used it. Bullshit.
Doesn't matter.
he used it constantly.
If you
He
never
ruined
used
one
it,
of the
why have it?
yeah. He ruined one of the biggest main events in the biggest main event in WCW history. If you know what I'm talking about, him versus Sting and the fast count.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be a normal. It was supposed to be a fast count, but he told Nick Patrick to do a normal count, and that fucked the finish.
1, 2, 2.5, 2
Two or
and
three
2 king,
Three
quarters.
quarters.
2 and a cheeseburger, uh, 2 and the
We'll get to talk about him later.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Hopefully, we don't have to talk about.
Well, as one says, sometimes
I
some
was talking
people are
about
less said
cheeseburger.
is better.
Oh,
Oh, cheeseburger in
I love that
paradise.
dude.
Anyway,
I love cheeseburgers.
Oh, he's cool
Such
as
a good
hell.
dude. Such a good dude.
but that's the thing. But going back to about the opportunities and everything, I mean, we were talking about Hogan being one, and now we're talking about the other, not yet named, but we know who he is since he ended Raw. And the thing is, and he's the one who quoted that. And so far, we've talked about in the Indies that it seems more familiar than rather than just basically, oh, I'm gonna be on top. But didn't he also act that way in the Indies as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, if you
he
look
was that
online,
bad
there's
in Ring of Honor too.
yeah, he did that stuff in Ring of Honor. He even did that stuff in like ECW because WWE ECW because there was a story of Rob Van Dam and he talked about how like even in CM Punk's like early days on the main roster tried to act like a lot of locker room leader and like just throw his dick around, swing his dick around. Thankfully, not like physically.
Literally.
You
Yeah,
don't know that.
yeah, not literally. Thank God.
We don't know that. I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like he thought he was. He always thinks he's hot shit because he believes in the hype that the fans give him, which could be very detrimental. And thankfully, from what I heard, WWE actually put in a behavioral clause in his contract.
Yeah.
He has to behave himself, or he can get fired.
But usually people have always stated that those who try to do that, try to basically put themselves, believe they have all that, they tend to be more of the needle movers, the big time shakers and pushers. I mean, and it's all, but it also goes back to if I'm here to make more money, I'm going to do everything impossible, basically putting myself up there to the point where everybody else doesn't matter.
I
I
mean,
mean,
sometimes you don't have to do it. I mean, you look like Triple H. All you had to do was sleep with the boss's daughter.
yeah, but nobody could be
Oh,
so lucky.
yeah, true.
You
Yeah.
know, it's one of those things where it's just he happened to just land on that opportunity. You know,
Um,
the guys.
I mean, but then again, you could say like John Cena, right? Not really. You don't really hear a bad thing about John Cena,
No.
and he was
Not at
on
all.
top for WWE for so long.
Mhm.
Um, and also the thing is, whenever like he sometimes politics, yes, of course, but he never. It always seemed like he never stepped on people's toes, and
He
he always thought,
he always did what was best for business.
yes. And even if you look at situations where, so supposedly he was the one that politic for him to beat Nexus, the 3-on-1 at SummerSlam,
Okay.
Hmm.
and when it didn't go over, he supposedly went up to like Wayne Barrett and the other people in Nexus and apologized. So like
Wow.
that was the whole character of John Cena was like when he understands he's wrong, he will apologize. And like he never politics in a bad way. Like like there's a right way to politic and there's a wrong way to politic. Like
Hmm.
CM Punk thinks he's John Cena, but he doesn't have or warrant the respect of John Cena.
Yeah, but I think the fans honestly with that sometimes buy into a little bit more, a little bit more than it should be. Because I think we had a discussion a while back about his wrestling skills, and to be quite honest, I mean, I don't even see anything really phenomenal like that's over the top in his wrestling. It's good, but it's not like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
he's good.
classic.
He could hold himself in the ring, but
Right.
he's never been on the level of. Well, okay, I will say this: in Ring of Honor, when he was with Ring of Honor, um, he was actually really good.
Yeah.
But then again, you also look at the people he was in the ring with. When he goes to WWE, as much as people want to say that, oh, WWE is the bigger company, the
Hmm.
talent level at that time was not as good as Ring of Honor was.
Okay, that I
Even
agree with.
even with Ring of Honor at that time. So CM Punk is not having the same quality of matches. But the thing is, he's proving himself to be the best of a WWE that's not that good. Now, then you go to see him in AEW. You could easily tell that the rest of the roster is so far above him.
Oh, absolutely.
CM Punk was good on the mic,
Yeah.
but when it comes to the wrestling, which in AEW, that's the center point, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In WWE, it's just like, okay, let's see what happens next. But in
Yeah.
AEW, we have these stories to build towards their match at the pay per view or whenever their match is going to be.
No, that's supposed to be. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
that's how it's supposed to be. And when it gets time for that money match, that blow off match, you could see that Punk wasn't at the level of even
Yeah.
the guys like Hangman Page. You can go back and look at the matches he had with Hangman Page. He barely he couldn't even do the buckshot lariat. And I remember another clip that somebody shared that CM Punk he tried to do. I think it was like a Spanish fly with
Mhm.
Penta off the top rope, and he couldn't
Oh,
do
that's
that.
crazy. No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Punk, especially currently, even if he didn't take those 7 years off, I don't think he's on the level of where the AEW talent or even the WWE talent is today.
Absolutely not. He
I'm very curious
he
how
wasn't
he's
on the
gonna
level.
do in the ring.
I don't think he was on the level of the talent back then. He's definitely not on the level of the talent now.
I will say the only time he's been what you could say is best in the world is like from WWE 2009 to like 2012.
I'll
That's it.
tell you one thing. Tell you one thing right now. Don't tell it to his fans. I
No,
swear,
of course not.
some of them,
But
I
then again,
swear, worship him.
I will say this.
Mhm.
The reason why his fans seem like a lot worse is because there's a lot more of them. Um, if you look at internet wrestling fans as a whole, there's a whole tribalism, and they will find
Yeah,
the smallest thing, act like it's the biggest insult, and then just have their whole group attack people.
Hmm.
Um,
yeah. I just don't care.
Sasha Banks fans are notorious for this in the same thing. And you like that's the one thing I've noticed with like women's wrestling, especially in WWE, is that they don't like. I feel like it's not that they like these people; it's that like they want to claim somebody and like claim that they've been a fan of them since day one, since they first entered the company, and then just attack all the other people.
That's
And
stupid.
yeah, it's just this
Yeah.
tribalism that I don't like.
Yeah, it's just trouble is a bullshit.
I'm
That's
gonna.
the thing on the
I'm
internet.
gonna. They are lemmings. They are sheep.
Boop, boop, boop,
Yep,
boom, 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 boom.
and it takes away
And
the
you know what? You know what
enjoyment.
lemmings do, right?
Yeah,
No, they don't do anything except just go. They just go.
And
Just
where do
go.
they go? Right off the
Wherever the hell
cliff.
they want. Yeah, all
Right
you
off
gotta
the
do is
cliff.
just say, "Hey, lemmings, over here." Okay.
Yep.
Piles of dead
These
lemmings. Film at 11.
these people think that whoever they're following is the end all be all of wrestling.
yep,
I never thought that anybody, no matter, even if I liked the guy, I never thought he was the end all, begin all. I just was like, I like him. He has to be like a full 5-star. I just still say he's
Right.
cool or she. So,
Like
doesn't have to be 5
yeah.
star.
I'm just on the
we
point
all
of
know that my favorite wrestler is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Right.
Is he a great wrestler? Absolutely. Is he the end all be all of wrestling? Absolutely not.
Oh no, no. I mean, he's great, but he ain't perfect.
Nope.
Even
yep,
Purple was one of my
Ain't
favorites,
nobody
and
in
not
the
everybody liked him.
ain't nobody in wrestling perfect.
except for Bailey, she's perfect.
Oh, see, there's an example of
Well,
tribalism.
she's a legend in her own mind. That's
And
the
in
problem
mine,
with some of those people, some of these wrestlers. They think
and
they're a legend in their own time, but in actuality, they're a legend in their own mind.
but the thing is, it's not the wrestlers themselves; it's just their fans.
Yeah,
Um, with except for the exception is Punk. He believes that hype. I mean, because like this is the thing is that especially when you see these people arguing like WWE versus AEW, they don't understand that they're all friends. They want to see each other do good,
Uh huh.
but
for
We've seen how
themselves.
many interviews have we seen with different wrestlers of different companies who see their friends see the other wrestlers go to other companies, and they're like, "Oh, because they went to
yeah,
the other company, people think we automatically hate them." No,
yeah,
Yeah, it's
we
stupid.
yeah,
want to
yeah.
see them succeed. We want to see them do well.
Ooh, one thing
If
I could
they
bring
if
up.
they found that they have a better opportunity at this company, who am I to stand in their way and say no, you can't go because you're my friend? If you go, we're not going to be friends anymore. It makes no
Yes,
sense.
Stupid.
there's one thing
That's
to
the
bring
kids
up.
today.
I remember this specifically. This was like I think WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom 12 when they were doing Jericho versus Omega, and I
Hmm.
remember watching it. And Sean Spears, before he got released, he was still Ty Dillinger, and he was
Hmm.
live tweeting Wrestle Kingdom 18 or 12,
12.
and there were people like WWE fans giving him shit. They're like, "Oh, you don't work for that company. Why are you mentioning that company?" Da, da, da. He's like, "I'm a wrestling fan. These are my friends. I'm supporting them."
Shut the hell up, fool.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah. That's just how it goes.
Thankfully, thankfully, there isn't real like a tribalism between the companies. I mean, there is some. Like, there is still like a GCW versus CZW. Um, I remember there was PWS versus JEPW. Um,
it was CZW versus JPW.
I remember
CZW literally versus anybody.
Yeah, pretty
that.
I
much.
remember,
Season
oh,
shit.
it was like 3, 4 years ago. CZW was trying to run an angle with Hog, and it with Hog wrestling, and it like it was just such a shitstorm.
Backfired.
If you look it up, no, like if you look it up, it literally legitimately looks like a riot.
I believe it. No, I believe it.
And
Yeah, I believe it
supposedly it
too.
wasn't a work. That was the thing. Supposedly it wasn't. Like, it started out as a work that turned into a shoot, and like cops had to be
Mhm.
called because of course DJ
Of
called the
course.
cops. Like that was supposed to be. It was supposed to be. There was supposed to be an ankle between GCW and CZW, and at the last second, DJ Hyde canceled it. And then when uh, Brett and Nick Gage still tried to do the angle, DJ Hyde called the cops.
I remember
Ooh.
that. Yeah, yeah, because DJ's a bitch.
Yeah, and he's completely
Punk ass
destroyed
bitch.
CZW.
Straight up bitch. Nasty bitch.
Yeah,
Gangsta bitch.
to the point like he's destroyed CZW to the point where nobody even knows they're still running shows.
Hmm.
I didn't know Caesar was still running shows. I haven't heard
They are.
anything about them in ages.
Yeah,
I
they have
I
a whole
ran.
new logo.
Mm. Yeah, I have not heard anything. Wow.
What were you gonna say,
Yeah,
Brain?
I ran
Bring
into
it to
DJ at a GCW show one time. He was
Really?
there. Yeah, he was there watching one night,
DJ. Play my
and
music.
he just happened to come into the back because he wanted to talk to Brett about something.
Hmm.
And I'm standing there with my arms crossed. I'm looking at him like, yeah, okay, you're so full of shit, and I'm hearing the whole conversation, and he's looking at me like, what's your problem? I'm like, definitely not you.
Humans.
Yeah,
That's all I say to that.
he's like, this has nothing to do with you. Get out of here. I'm like, no, I'm working. It's like, you're working. I'm like, yeah, you see my uniform? Yeah, I'm doing stuff for these guys that you could never do. And he's like, what's that? Taking care of them. And Brett Brett nearly choked on his drink. He
Unbelievable.
we almost had a spit take, and DJ being standing that he was standing right in front of him almost wore it.
For those
Yeah, no,
who don't get, for those who may not get the joke, Brain's talking about he actually takes care of the people, whereas this other guy would probably piss on them if they got injured.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's like interesting that the whole dynamic is not as prevalent in indies as some people make it out to be. There
yeah,
might be more stories, but for now we could just say we just don't. from our experiences and from chats is whatnot, we don't really see this as insane as some of the other feds. Two of the big examples are Hogan and Punk, basically showing off that they care more themselves. Although some people they may throw in the click as the argument, but I digress. It's
Yeah.
not
I
enough for me
mean,
to say.
people talk about Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Kevin Nash really helped out actually with TNA, with the X Division. He helped him get
Mhm.
over. But Kevin
Yeah,
Nash,
definitely.
I think Kevin Nash is a very good mind in business.
I wonder about that. It's like the old guys should always be there just to try to help push the new guys over,
Yeah,
Hmm.
as well as make a couple bucks or two, because they like it. But honestly, as much as people could say it's not, I'm not here. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make friends. It's still good to have friends.
it is.
Absolutely.
Because for example, I'll just build an example for you, cleaner. Say I'm working, I don't know, Podunk Wrestling in some little town nowhere. I get good. I catch your attention. You know somebody in, we'll say GCW, an example, who somebody in GCW who could probably get me to book in a spot. If I didn't know you, it's like I'd probably be stuck, going at Podunk. But because I met you, got to know you, befriended you, then it's like, okay, now you got another opportunity.
Yep, yep.
So
And
to
that
Hmm.
that
was a
point,
lot of things. If you hear the stories about independent wrestling back then, or just trying to get booked in general back then, these guys they had their friends in the industry, and they would just send them tapes to each other,
yeah,
Hmm.
I remember those
and
talks.
they would just hope and pray that one person calls them back. I mean, now you can
Mm.
just put on a highlight reel onto your YouTube and see who calls you.
Exactly.
As long as they find you, though, you have to
Yeah,
remember
Right.
that. Because just because you put a highlight reel on YouTube does not guarantee you're going to be visible.
no, yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work for
Cleaner,
that
you
too.
remember when we went to that one show that Tommy Dreamer held a few years ago? Forget where it was, but we went to it. It was you and me who went to the show, and one of the people on the show was Brian Cage.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, the House of Hardcore show.
Yes, we went to
Yes,
that
it was.
show.
It was. It wasn't in like Woodbridge or something like that. It was at like one of those indoor tennis
Yes,
places.
yes,
Yeah,
My
yeah,
name
okay.
is Woodbridge.
and Brian Cage was one of the wrestlers on the show, and it was. I think it was intermission. I was just walking around, and I happened to stop at his table, and we just started talking. And he said, "I've seen you at other shows. I can't remember where." I said, "Probably. Have you worked Jersey All Pro?" He's like, "No, but I've been to a few of their shows." So he had been to Jersey All Pro as a fan.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well,
Mhm.
let me talk to the guys because I'm close with the guys and see what we can get you." A
Mhm.
couple months later, there he is on a Jersey All Pro show, which
Yeah,
ended up
no, he's a good
leading
dude.
to him getting into Ring of Honor. He did some time in Ring of Honor. He did Shikara, he did a couple other promotions, and now he's in AEW.
Well, no, I know he was. I think at that time though, he was with Impact because I don't know if it was right before his Impact run or after. No, it wasn't
It
after.
was right before.
Um,
Oh.
it was somewhere around that time because like in 2018, 2019 ish. I know at that time he was definitely with Lucha Underground. In
Mm.
2017, he was definitely with Lucha Underground. Um, I don't know if he had started his Impact run because I know he eventually became their world champion, and he was, I think, an X Division champion as well. Um,
Oh.
it was somewhere around that time.
Somewhere Over
Over
the
the
crack.
rainbow. Because I know he wasn't.
He was in Lucha
think,
at the time.
yeah. Because
He
I
was in
think
TNA in 2012 to 2014.
Oh.
then he had a second run with them in Impact,
Yeah, 18 to 20.
18 to 20. Okay, there it is. Because right after that, that's when he signed with AEW.
Yep,
Oh.
2019.
Yeah, he was on. I think he was on the Dynamite. He was on the Casino Battle Royal, and then he signed. I think the next year at Double or Nothing, because he was a surprise. He was a surprise entrant for the ladder match.
Hmm.
I think it was like the opportunist ladder match or some shit.
He was in the Casino ladder match.
Yeah, the Casino ladder match. Yep, and I think it was like 2 weeks later he had a match with Moxley for the world title. But yeah, no, like some of those like independent shows could have crazy things. Like I
Yeah.
remember the main event was supposed to be something. Matt Hardy was supposed to wrestle. I forget who he was supposed to wrestle. He was supposed to wrestle somebody, but since he had signed with WWE, he appeared, but he didn't. No, he did wrestle. Oh, he wrestled.
Oh.
I think it was Dreamer.
Hmm.
I think he had a 1v1 versus Dreamer.
We're in TNA.
That's a dreamer.
No, at the House of Hardcore show.
No, I don't think he was at the House of Hardcore show.
He was. He was in the main. Because I remember the next night it was at the Philly Arena, the 2300 Arena, and he had a tag match with with Jeff, and that was their last independent appearance before Matt left.
Oh.
Because they were tag team champions at the time. They had just come back from they had just come back to WWE, and this was like a month after their it was in Freehold.
I got it.
Okay,
I got it. House of Hardcore 24, April 21st, 2017, Metuchen Sportsplex.
those were touching. Okay,
Damn. It's been a while.
Bull James. Oh, you know what? He might have been. It might have been just an appearance. Because I do remember him coming out.
Oh, here it is. They were supposed to wrestle.
He was supposed to wrestle. Yes.
Him and Jeff.
Oh.
They were supposed to wrestle. But because they just signed back with WWE, his contract forced him from the match. He was he was replaced by the Squad, and Bully Ray was pulled from his match with Sammy Callahan to team with Dreamer.
Damn. Just damn with that.
Yeah, they were replaced by Matt and Jeff were replaced by the Squad.
That Squad.
Kenny and Mikey.
Mikey,
Yes,
that Squad.
the Spirit Squad.
There are some crazy matches that I have no recollection of seeing.
It's called old age.
Like, for one.
Oh, you know who else was at the show that I talked to and got into Jersey All Pro?
What's that?
TJ.
Ooh.
TJ Marconi,
TJ
yeah.
Marconi.
See, like, there are people that I have no recollection of being on that show. Like, for one, Matt Striker versus Alex Reynolds.
With
And
Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
No recollection of that.
I don't either, but
I do remember the Spirit Squad now that I think about it. I remember also not the Freebirds, but the there was some stupid like tag team name.
Idiots Are Us?
No.
The double Duprees.
No, it was one of the Gigolo Justin, Heath Collins, Vic Dawes. Oh, what are they called?
The Now.
And later.
No, something like Freebirds.
No, the double Duprees were on the sidelines with Hatred.
Oof.
There's another one that
Was it called the Double Degrees? There was some like. I'm so mad that I can't remember their names. But yeah, the point is, like MVP versus Brian Cage. I have no recollection of MVP being there.
Wow. That shows it's been a while.
Yeah. And apparently Robbie E is on the poster. I have no recollection of Robbie E being on there.
Unbelievable. The things you do when you go back in time, you go, wait, was I there? Was I really there? Or were you in a Twilight Zone somewhere? Ooh.
Yeah, Cleaner's still pissed because he didn't get to meet Tommy. But I did.
No, I did.
You did?
We met him at well, not at that show.
At least you met him.
We met him at WrestlePro in Rahway.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him being like, he did not want to be there. And he was like, who are these two schmucks coming up and talking to us or talking to me? Like, it just felt like he was so disinterested that night. And it was not long after that, actually, that PWS show, or that WrestlePro show. Also, I do remember, though, later, I think it was late, no, it was even later that month, whenever, it was like the first or second Asbury Park show that we went to. And I remember MJF coming out and, like, doing a promo on somebody. And, like, he literally walked right in front of me, and I'm like, he's going to cut a promo on me. He's going to say something about me. And, like, I'm just like, I don't want it. No. I'm going to look like
Do
such
not
a girl.
want.
Yeah, I'm going to look like such a wimp.
Boo.
Was it 27? When did they first go to,
The moon?
when did they? Oh, no, okay, I found it right here. It was versus Marco Stunt at the Block is Hot.
God dang.
Asbury Park. If I remember right, wasn't that the show that, what's his name? Eric Ryan got impaled by a shopping cart?
Yeah, I believe so.
Although it doesn't say he competed on the show. See, there's a couple of things I remember about these Asbury Park show. Is like I remember I would always stand by the curtain because I wanted to, because I know you would watch the show. So I was like, oh, let me just stand by John. Maybe I have a friend or something like that. But I would just stand by the curtain, and then whenever a wrestler came out, I would like pull back the curtain, like, yeah, I'm part of the show. Then I would talk to the security guard, but and I remember like shaking hands with like Teddy Hart and Colby Carino was another one. I'd shake some of the dudes' hands. But then I remember after one of the shows, they were doing like an extra match after the show, after the main event. It was like just for the live crowd. And Nick Gage was there. And like I was watching the match and he literally like tapped me and was like, "What's up, bro?" I was like,
"What's up, home?
Like, you're Nick Gage, bro. Who the fuck am I?"
Yeah.
The Cleaner, that's
who.
The
thing. Nick was always that way with the fans.
Always. I remember the first GCW show you took me to. There was a cookout before the show. No, there was the second one. It was like in July, and there was a cookout. And I was just waiting for a fucking goddamn burger, and Nick Gage did the same thing. And I'm like, bro, that's Nick fucking Gage, and he was like dabbing me up, and I'm like, that just made me feel so cool, and like was
Mhm.
like that's like that showed like the what GCW, especially in those years, was like. It was like a family. Like the
Yeah.
fucking biggest star in the company is dabbing me up. Some rando has nobody knows only one person here.
Mhm.
So
Moral of the story: get to, moral story for wrestling groups: get to be friendly with the fans. Moral story to the fans: have some balls and talk to them.
Exactly.
but also be respectful.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, always respectful. Come on, if I have to say, oh wait, we're in 2023. Yeah, you have to say that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Yeah, the way people are today, you have to mention everything.
Yeah. And listen, they're gonna sign it for you. But do you know how many people ask for their best friend named eBay to be the name for the signature?
If I ever get a autograph signature, ain't no way I'm selling that. That's gonna be mine to keep.
Oh hell
Exactly.
yeah!
Like, I am
I
not
have
selling this shit.
one. It wasn't an actual order. Well, I don't know if she actually signed it or not. But I still have. I bought it online. A page autograph. It's the only autograph I actually do have from like somebody like that. But I bought it and I still have it. And I will never sell that.
Nope.
Yeah.
I still got that one of the first Jacobs back in the early 2000s in Delaware,
Yeah.
where I know Christopher Daniels was showing up, and he was one of the content like members, and I
Mhm.
remember all the contenders signed that book. I am not selling that shit for nothing. I don't
Mhm.
Oh
care.
hell no.
No.
Although I tell you what, man, I hate these people on eBay, man. They drive up the prices for these autographs, especially for people that don't order autographs. Like
Mhm.
I'm trying to find like an autograph of my favorite singer, and I cannot find it because they barely do autographs, and when they do, it's either not authentic or the price is like almost $1,000, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Mhm.
Kids suck
To this
sometimes.
day, I still have the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat autograph.
Dun dun dun. He still
36
owns.
years.
Don't
And
tell anybody, but that was actually Bobby the Brain Heenan.
ooh, ooh, hot stuff, y'all. Hot
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, yeah, that's a good wrap on that. Woo.
Yeah, we had a nice discussion today.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Gentlemen,
yeah, follow us on
Yeah.
all the socials if you like to see more. I mean, like that one. Wait, no, it's on this side. This one ain't dead any like around anymore, so you can't follow us on that. But what you can follow us is on the X, on the FB, the IG, and whatever other
and the
socials that
YT
may come through. Yeah, that one too.
I mean, y'all look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that.
and the TT.
No,
Oh,
not on the orange and black just yet.
no,
Yeah.
we still got to
My
figure all the socials.
my
Get
smart
all the
people will
socials.
know that.
And I
That
must change that Twitter to say X because now it's X. X
Yeah.
marks the spot.
Everybody knows it's still
Elon,
Twitter.
yeah, it's
I
so
know.
I still call it Twitter.
Yeah, but Elon's still making money. That you can't lie about that.
So,
He's got a
all
few
right,
money.
gentlemen, as
Take
always,
us
until
out.
next week,
Peace out, Cub Scout.
too sweet.
Too sweet.